Today's topic is learning agile leadership skills through famous web series. I hope all you guys have watched. If not everyone, many would have watched the web series named Money Heist and the Squid Game. So let's get started. Welcome to Agile Coaching Roundtable. Let me share my screen. Please confirm if you're able to see my screen. And I would request everyone to please come over video so that it feels good that we are talking with person and not with just profile pics. So I would request for whoever is it possible to please come over video. Thank you, Ambalika. All right, let's get started. I hope you guys have watched this series, right? Is there anyone who has not watched?
Yeah, I haven't
I
watched.
have not watched.
Oh, is
I've
it?
also not watched.
All right. So, sorry for this disturbance. Today, Vivek won't be joining and even Vishaka for that matter, because both of them are attending agile coaching training session, certification session. So they won't be joining today. So I will have to switch a lot to admit people. So please spare me on this part. I do see people joining in even now. Yeah, so coming back to the web series. So Money Heist series is a famous series which is regarding the robbery, I must say. So they plan a heist. So there is, just to give the gist for the people who have not watched. So there is this professor with his team of say robbers, I must say, and they plan to do a robbery, and they plan for this biggest heist in Spain. And the way they plan, the way they execute, and the way the professor is the mastermind behind all of this, how they do and how they challenge the government and all of that. So this series talks about all of these things, how they plan and how they execute. So there are many things that we as agile leaders, when I say agile leaders, I refer to scrum masters and agile coaches. So we all can learn a lot by these web series. So I don't know how many would have kind of seen or watched these series with that perspective, but I could kind of relate many of professors qualities with the agile leaders, with myself few, and obviously with the leaders that I have seen and that I have worked across. So I thought of why not just pick up this topic, and why not just plan a session around it, so that whenever we say that we are watching the series, you would watch in a different light, some different light. So that is the whole idea of picking up this topic. And also when we relate to some entertainment thing, we kind of understand the subject matter very clearly. So I thought it would be a good mix of learning with entertainment, wherein you can always relate back to that series, and also learn some agile leadership skills. So that is the whole idea. So this was about Money Heist. For the Squid Game, I have picked up a small portion of a video from the Squid Game series. so that you can watch it in this session, and maybe you can also add to more leadership qualities that you have come across in this small clipping. But Money Heist is something, it's a very big series, so it's of 5 odd seasons, which is not possible to pick up one particular portions of it and just play it over here. So it's a gist of entire web series. So that is the reason why for Money Heist, I'm just giving you the background. But Squid Game, I can play the video. That is the plan. And before starting with this, I would like to make one announcement. So this is people who have joined this Agile Coaching Roundtable since beginning. Uh, Now this is the third session, and in now what we are planning to do is we are planning to introduce the concept of a guest speaker, wherein once a month or whatever frequency that is possible, we would be kind of bringing in the speakers of our fraternity whom we know, and we would be asking them to join in and give one wonderful session. Maybe it could be a half-hour session, or maybe a 40-minute session, wherein we would get to learn a lot. And I'm trying to rope in people for this. So let's see when we get dates of people or the guest speakers. And as soon as I get speakers dates, I would be planning for a guest session. I'm planning at least once a month, so that it would be a good mix of the common sessions by us and one guest session per month. But let's see how it goes. Definitely, I would make that happen because I am very excited to learn from the experts in our fraternity. So, having said that, let's get started. So this is for people who have watched this series. They would be able to relate it really well. So the first leadership skills from the Money Heist is that planning with precision and by exploring all the options. Right. So just a sec. Let me turn off my video so that I can switch here and there. Yeah, sure. So planning with precision by exploring all the options. So the way the professor plans everything is that he always has a backup plan, and he plans to the T, so that the time taken for the execution is really precise, and he keeps all his options open. When I say all the option open, so he is always ready with plan A, B, C. I can go on till Z. So till that level, Professor plans all his heists. So whenever we talk about our leadership skills, when you as a Scrum Master or an Agile coach, when you also plan, be it for a sprint planning, be it a release planning, or be it a PI planning, so you should spend a good amount of time in planning and plan with precision, so that there are less hiccups in your execution. So I typically follow this rule is that it's okay to spend maximum time in planning and spend less amount of time in execution. Or maybe if you plan thoroughly, you will require less amount of time in execution. The better you plan, the better would be your execution. So this is one of the clearest leadership skills that one can learn from Money Heist. Second is team collaboration. So as I mentioned, so the professor has got a good set of strong people who executes this heist. So what they do is, I mean, whatever the professor has planned, or whatever professor guides them, these people work in collaboration with each other, and then they execute the plan. So everyone play with equal role, and even professor never thinks that he is the only smartest in the group. So he is not the one who kinds of just go and give the commands, or maybe he is not the one who dictates all of that. He works with them in collaboration, and this is a very very important leadership skill one must hone when we get into agile leadership role. So team collaboration is very important. This is also a skill which Money Heist teaches us. So next is trust your team to get the work done. And trust is basis of anything. I mean, when I for me, agile coaching, or maybe leadership is a relationship between between two people. So when I say two people, these two people can be coach and coachee, mentor and mentee, and leader and team member. So I don't want to call it as a manager or a boss, because that is for me those are very strong words to be used. I like to call myself as a leader rather than a manager or boss. So uh, uh, it is a relationship that we build together. So for that purpose, for any relationship, trust is the foundation of it. So you have to trust your team to get the work done. For example, now if your team says that okay, I'll take this much amount of time, or maybe the efforts to complete a particular user story, all you can do as a lead is you can trust. You don't have to have a suspicion or insecurity or inhibitions whether your team is saying truth or not. What if they complete the work before time? It's okay, let them complete it. Give them that freedom of choosing their work, and give them the freedom of giving the effort estimations or whatever. So you have to trust your team. This is a very important factor for any relationship. And once you I hope most of you are working as a scrum master, or an agile coach, or else for the people who are going to approach this role, maybe a scrum master or an agile coach, when you go deep in this game, you will understand this is a relationship. Leadership, agile leadership, or agile leader with his team members is a relationship that we maintain. It's not something like a order or a command kind of a job. It's a collaborative relationship, and it is a relationship. So when you go deep into agile coaching and all of that, you will understand that trust is the utmost important, and it is the quality that every leader must have. So next is deal with empathy. So when you say that you are a leader, and when you say you are an agile leader, or when you say you are a solver, or when you say that you remove impediments for your team, how do you do that? You cannot be very stone hearted and say that no, you just tell what your problems are. You will be very mechanical and technical in resolving the issues. No, you have to understand the other person's feeling. How do you understand the other person's feeling? You understand other person's feeling when you understand yourself. So when you can empathize with your feeling is when you understand, when you empathize with others. So empathy is also a very important leadership skill which we should have. And this professor clearly hones in this web series called Money Heist. So these are a few important skills that we should learn from wherever we see. I mean, these are the skills. It's not necessary that you should learn from your co-leader or anyone, or any leadership person. These skills can be taught by any person around you. These skills can be learned from your home, from your surrounding, anywhere. These skills can be learned and adopted, provided you have that eye. And as I mentioned, so for the people who already know, they must be relating what I mean, that professor owns this quality. But for people who have not watched this, I would suggest that when you in future, whenever you watch and you come back to this session, I would be putting up this recorded session onto my YouTube channel as well. After you watch, you can come back and you can revisit this session, and you would be able to relate where I mean that a professor has this empathy and when he trusts the team members and all of that. Next is empower and enable your team to own up things. So obviously you cannot say that my team member uh, should do this, should do that. You cannot command as I mentioned. So you can get your, when can you get your work done? You can get your work done with your empowerment. So you have to show them the path. You should empower them. You should enable your team members so that they listen to you. You don't have to make them listen to you by your command. You have to make them listen to you with your convincing skills. And you should empower them in such a way that they feel like owning up things. So unless and until you make them feel that it is their thing, or it is up to them to take care of it, your team is not going to work full heartedly. So for people who have not worked as a scrum masters or an agile coach, they might feel that what is she talking about, I mean, what I am here for. But when you start implementing this, when you start working as a scrum master for say few sprints or maybe for few months, you will start understanding what I'm saying. So scrum master is not someone who is working just at a framework level or a process level, where you will say that okay, I have these components, I have these events, I have to facilitate, I have these roles to take care of. And no, so it is very it is a relationship where you have to deal with very sensitivity. So it is, as I mentioned, it is a relationship, and this relationship is to be nurtured, and it should be two sided. You cannot establish a relationship where you are willing to contribute and the other person is not willing to contribute. So it is a two-way relationship, and you have to put that effort. And to put that effort, you have to make them understand the importance of the relationship. So this is how you have to gain that leadership skill. So these skills are not taught anywhere. These skills are not kind of available with some course or with some certification or some reading. These are to be these are to be adopted. These are the skills which are to be developed. So, and you develop with experience. So these are some of the skills that you get to learn from the Money Heist web series. So let's see what are the other leadership skills. So the other set of leadership skills is that I think some yeah. So the other set of leadership skills. So what are those from the same web series? Celebrate and appreciate small wins and joys. So what this group does. So what a professor and his team do is, whenever they get succeeded in any heist, so they come together, they get together, they go to some private place, and they celebrate it. Because obviously the heist that they plan or they execute is not a small heist. It's at a very large scale, and it involves the governments together. So they plan at that scale. So obviously the money that they get by this heist is huge. So if not of the not necessary that you have to uh, win a big game, or it's not that you have to win a big jackpot. So even they succeed with smallest step, right? They get together, they celebrate the moment, and professor is the one who celebrates with them. So It's not that the team gets together or something like that. All of them, they do it together. So that's what he teaches us, what that you should take your team along, you should celebrate with them. So when you work as agile leader, for you as well, this is applicable for you as well. Whenever you work with your team, at every possible occasion, celebrate and appreciate them. If you think that they have done a wonderful job in one release, right, or in one sprint, take this opportunity and appreciate them and celebrate with them. Don't just take it with a pinch of salt saying that no, that is part of their job, right? No, should not do that. So you should celebrate with them, just appreciate them, put it on email. I know that when I say email, right, we should not be we should be ensuring the face to face communication and all, that is fine. So but then when you are working remotely, and since we also have this hierarchy culture still existing in the service industry, whenever your team does well, you should send out an email marking your leadership, saying that this so and so person has done a wonderful job, be it at sprint level, be it at release level, be it at project level, it could be anything. Appreciate them personally. Maybe whenever you get together, by end of the sprint, maybe it could be a retro or whatever. Don't wait for an occasion to be created. Whenever they do a great job, appreciate them in front of everyone. And also, it is a good practice to put an email marking all the management people and clients, telling them, letting them know that so and so person has done a great job. So when you do that, your team gets motivated. And when your team gets motivated, they do even with double enthusiasm and energy. So that is how it helps. And another quality is identify risks and uncertainties early on. So whenever these guys plan for a heist, they take care of all the possibilities, all they anticipate risks and uncertainties, everything. They, as I mentioned, they plan to the T. So all the risks and uncertainties they account for. And when they account for possible risks and uncertainties, they are well prepared for the risks and uncertainties. So they have the backup plans ready. So whenever something comes up, obviously, uh, since it is a drama based series, right? So and it is a crime based series also, and it is a entertainment industry, so you can expect twists and turns, obviously. So whenever it is not the case that he will always be successful without any hurdles, right? So whenever a hurdle comes up, or whenever unplanned thing comes up, any risk comes up, so professor is always prepared for it. He always has got some plan. He, when we say he has always got plan, that does not mean that it is a scripted one, and he is omnipresent and he knows everything. No, he does his job really well as a leader. So he prepares himself for all possibility, risks and uncertainties. How he prepares himself for risks and uncertainties? He prepares because he plans very well. He takes care of all possible options and all possible uh, permutations and combinations. He write downs the plan. This is the level of planning and risk analysis he does. Since he does at that level, he is always prepared. And since he is prepared, he has got multiple backup options. He knows that if one plan fails, another one is always there. So that is how you are supposed to plan. So when I say that backup plan, right, in our scope of work, we can call it as a workaround, right? You know that one solution does not work. What you do, you switch on to next solution, right? You switch on to workaround. But you don't stick to one solution, and you don't say that no, this is not working, and it would be a failure, and I'm not going to I will not be able to deliver this, right? So you always try options, you always keep your options open. So that is how you have to prepare for your risk and uncertainties. Next is be vulnerable and share failure stories and lessons. Yeah, this is something you might feel that how come a leader be vulnerable and share failure stories, right? So many people, many managers and bosses, I'm talking about managers and bosses, what they feel is you are a manager or you are a boss, which means that you should show yourself as a tough person, right? You are you create that your external uh, outer thing as very tough, so that you cannot bend, you cannot go wrong, you cannot make mistakes, and you never fail. So this is how your exterior the managers or the bosses create for themselves. So whenever your team members, so if assume you to be a boss or a manager, and you go with this tough exterior, right? And whenever your team members uh, want to approach you, or when you go to your team member with this tough exterior, definitely they will get intimidated. So when you go with such a tough exterior, what they think is this person is very strict, he's always right, he cannot go wrong, how can I fail in front of him? If I fail in front of him, he's definitely going to blame me. So this is what the mindset of a team member is when you create your exterior very tough. Instead, you be vulnerable. You, even you are human being, right? Even a manager or a boss is also human being, even an agile leader is also human being. So you are bound to make mistakes. So whenever you want to approach your team, or whenever you want to create that trust, right? When you create a trust, when you have some common thing to share with each other, right? So when you go to your team members seeking for help, seeking for solutions, so you never know that a junior might have a better solution or a better perspective to your problem, right? So whenever you go and seek for help or seek for solutions from your team members, that means you're being vulnerable. So when you be vulnerable, they feel that you are one among them, right? So when you do that, when you share your failure stories, is when they start opening up with you. So this is what professor also does. So he, how he gains the confidence of the team, what he does is he always shares his backstory. So in each episode, right, there would be one backstory of one leader from that group. They will share that story. Okay, this had happened in my past, and I'm vulnerable, I have such past. Or maybe my family is so and so, I'm facing difficulty in this, could you please help? So there are situations where this professor also opens up with his own vulnerability, and that is how the team members feel that he is friendly, he is approachable. And since he also goes ahead and shares his story, team also comes forward and they share their stories, they are part of it, and they also seek solution. So this is the one of the great quality professor teaches from this web series. And next and the last leadership skill from this web series that we can learn is flexibility and creativity versus being reactive. That means you have to be flexible and creative in your ways, right? So that is what agility also means, right? Being flexible and being creative. So whenever a crisis situation comes up, right, instead of reacting to it, for example, if there is any failure, so your team members have failed delivering a user story, or if there is a production bug that has occurred, or if there is any escalation that has come up on your team members, instead of being reactive by blaming them, just be flexible and be creative in a way wherein you do RCA in such a way that you open up your team for suggestions, and doing RCA also in a way that what could have gone wrong. So you're doing RCA not to blame anyone, you're doing RCA to learn from our mistakes. So you be flexible enough in your ways so that you can improve from the next release, or you can improve from the next sprint, or whatever it could be. So you should one should not be reactive. instead, one should be flexible and creative. So these were the leadership skills that we have learned from Money Heist. Any questions from anyone so far before we move on to the next one? Any questions or any points wherein you disagree?
Hey Ramya, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, who wanna go first? Shall I go first, or the other person who was speaking wanna go first?
Yeah,
No,
you
it's
can
okay.
go.
You go first. No problem.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so hi Ramya, nice, and thank you very much for the questions. The one question what I got, in this particular session is that there was one point which was presenting about we should trust the team members in terms of the estimation what they are doing in terms of what they are supposed to deliver during a sprint, right? And being an agile leader, or I would say a scrum master who is leading who is leading the team, is he not supposed to share his expertise in terms of he would have looked at multiple agile teams in his experience, right? So especially when it comes to the matter of estimation, where he has
Mhm.
seen one of his team members, all the team members are estimating pretty low from what they are supposed to, what they are supposed to deliver in terms of their capacity. So in this situation, is Scrum Master or the Agile coach is not supposed to, share his terms of experience in terms of the estimation that they are supposed to do.
No, if you ask me, no, you have to be neutral. So when you get into this agile coaching or maybe a scrum master role, you have to be neutral. So you have to support whatever your team has to say. So at the most, a product owner can question them, like, I mean, why do you require these many user stories? But he cannot intervene, saying that no, why you have said 5 story points, according to me it should be 3. So even this level of intervention no one can do. A product owner has got a right to ask, but not a scrum master. So scrum master, at the role of a scrum master or an agile coach, you have to be neutral. So whatever your team feels, because it's the team who is going to work on the user stories or the sprint goal, right? It's not the scrum master who is going to work on it. So whatever your team feels, that should be your final thing. So if, for that matter, not only for estimation, even for the processes or maybe for anything, so it has to be in agreement with your team. If your team feels that no, this might not work for us, let's change this. So you have to be flexible enough in changing that and not just be rigid saying that no, but this has to be done this way. You should not be doing that. So it is for our betterment. The processes and all of that are something that we have created for our betterment. So if we ourselves are not comfortable following that, then we should be tweaking that. So when we say that scrum, right? So what is scrum framework? It is the loosely held rules. So when we say loosely held rules, those can be broken or maybe mended. If not broken, those can be mended. Let me put it that way. But when we talk about agile, so agile is a methodology. So agile methodology, it's a tightly coupled rules. So those cannot be broken. So the agile values and principles are tightly coupled. So those cannot be deviated or broken or mended. So those have to be followed. But when we talk about Scrum framework is nothing but a loosely held rules. Those can be mended. So when you, in the capacity of a Scrum master, go and say that with my experience, this should be the effort estimation, or with my experience, this is what it should be, then you are persuading them in giving the estimations. So it is up to team to decide what works for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, reason why I'm asking is that, these days, we're bringing in, DevOps flavor into the agile practices. We are currently targeting continuous improvement as well, right?
Right.
So, when we bring in continuous improvement, we should also think about, empowering or enabling the team members in terms of their capacity what
Right.
they are delivering currently and what is that they are supposed to deliver in the future, right? So that's the reason I brought in this question.
Yeah. So capacity would be considered, if I have to say so, at the beginning of the sprints, right? So maybe first few sprints is when you go with capacity, but after a period, certain period, maybe sprints or 4 sprints, is when you move to velocity. So that is the period where your team gets comfortable with each other. They know, they kind of agree with each other, and that is they collaborate with each other. And with that particular set of people, then they open up, and that is when they give good results, and that is when you move to velocity. So you cannot get stuck to capacity in your entire journey. So at a point you will have to move to velocity, and the velocity will help you kind of predict what your team can deliver in future as well, provided the team dynamics does not change. So that is the reason why you cannot always think about capacity. You as a scrum master or an agile coach, your idea or your strive should be, how do I get my team understand the agile values and principles, or make them agile, right? So that they would be able to deliver their work with less intervention of yours.
Okay, thank you.
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you, Ramya.
Yeah. I think there was someone else who has asked the question, right?
Hi Ramya, Aisha this
Hi.
side.
Hey, hi, Aisha.
Um, Thank you. Ramya, I wanted to understand कि um, in a team, agile concepts, they are very easy to grasp, but they are kind of difficult to follow unless your team, they know the reason why they need to follow it. And
Right.
sometimes all your team members are not on the same page, and you are acting as a coach and not a boss. So
Exactly.
how to actually make the team or the people who are involved understand the agile concept, not only to know them but also to follow them without friction within the team.
Right. So one point you mentioned is really beautiful and very important point that you have mentioned, is about not everyone is on the same page, right? So whenever you coach your team, right? So your ground rule should be that everyone is aligned to your goal, or everyone is aware what their goal is, and everyone is aligned to that goal. So once your team gets aligned to your to the goal, why they are doing and what they are doing, is when the coaching becomes easy. So it's like, for example, out of team of 5 members in your scrum team, so one person is not even aware what he or she is doing in a sprint, or why is he doing, and the other person is very much aware. So when that happens, it becomes very difficult to coach them. So you as a agile leader, what you have to do is get everyone on the same page first. So now when you start a sprint, or maybe in your sprint planning, make them understand what the sprint goal is, make them understand what they're doing and why they're doing. So to such a level that, for example, now out of a team of 5 members, if you have to call someone and ask what is your sprint goal, anyone should be able to answer, right? What are they doing? If they hesitate, and I know it is very difficult, even if you think of doing that, you yourself know that how many people will answer you that they know the sprint goal.
Right.
Exactly. So because we have never set that ground clear, we have to set that ground clear for our team members, that this is what your goal is, this is what you're walking towards, this is what the client has visioned. So you are going to uh, achieve that vision and mission of the client, and how do you do that? So these are the things team should be very clear on. And when you talk about how they understand, how to make them understand scrum values and principle, explain them with reason. explain them with benefits. So now someone will be not following the tool. Just an example. You cannot command them or boss them saying that no, you have to follow it, because if you don't do it, it will impact your appraisal. No, that is not how you do it, right? So in an attempt to make them understand, what you have to do is why you want to use that tool, what is the benefit that you are getting out of that tool, and how well you can utilize that tool. If you can explain them these points, so there is some technique called as 5 I's. So if you can explain each point, maybe ask them questions, ask them right questions, right? So they will understand the rationale behind it. Try to give that rationale to them, and only then they will try to follow. And it is very difficult to get the consensus of everyone and get everyone on the same page. And that is a skill that we have to develop, and it comes with an experience.
Right, Ramya. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Maybe I'll go back to the next one. So the next one is also the more or less similar to the what we have seen, but I have captured a few specific leadership points that we get to learn from this next series. So for that, let me play a video clip for you. Let me share my screen once again. Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So next is a Squid Game. Is there anyone who has not watched Squid Game?
Not watched.
Okay.
I didn't watch.
Sure. So I'll play a small clip for you, video clip, so that it will help you understand what I'm talking about. As I mentioned, I'm going to just pick up a small clip and not the entire thing. So watch this video carefully. I would request everyone to go on mute so that you would be able to listen to the conversation as well. And let's discuss the points between us after watching this clip. So it's just 3.33 minutes, and we are already at 7:47, so we have got a few minutes more to discuss. So let's do this. Having a good. All right, so did you guys watch this? Did you understand, or you want me to play once more? And can anyone tell me what are the qualities that you have at least, I mean, learned, or maybe try to come to your mind? Some qualities that you can just tell us or share with us.
So one is definitely teamwork, because if one person is not, delivering what he's supposed to deliver, the entire team fails.
Absolutely. So that is very important one. Yes, that is there. Teamwork. Any other quality? I see Srini has raised a hand.
6.
Sorry.
No, I was just sticking to the framework or what has been, the basic principle.
Right. So basically sticking to rules. So whatever we have
Yeah.
agreed upon, or whatever we are created for ourselves, stick to the rules.
Yes.
Right. Any other points? I think Shri has raised his hand.
Trust your team members. So there was an instance when they were asking them to loosen up, and
Right.
where the people were not agreeing, but then yes, they stuck to that and they trusted, and they actually acted to that plan.
Absolutely. Trust, as I mentioned, it's a key. When you're working with people, you have to trust each other.
Probably you have to
Good
keep
planning.
motivating them.
Yeah, good planning is also, as I mentioned, so strategy and planning are very important for a successful execution. And another one, I guess it was about motivating, right?
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
To keep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Any other?
So
Yes.
it also tells either win or lose as one. Yeah. So that is something which we can take it as an essence for this video.
Sorry, could you repeat? I missed in between.
Yeah, I was saying win as one.
Yeah.
So that as a team you can focus the sprint goal or whatever it is. Like as a leader, we can help the team to focus more on the goal that we agreed earlier and stick to it and follow to the plan. And if
Yes.
there are any risk also, we should be able to handle it as a team and achieve it rather than just leaving it to one person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They were also
Any other
communicating a
point?
lot with each other
Yeah.
when they were, playing the tug of war. So basically, there should be an open communication within the team, that all the team members, and everyone was trying to give their opinion. So
Right. Right. Communication is the key. It's not that one who is deciding for everyone and others are just going to listen. It is communication is the key. I mean, they are not just spoke about that at beginning of the game and then they just do it, but they were speaking throughout. But at the other end, if you have seen, there was no communication. They were just trying hard and hard and hard. Any other
yes,
point?
Aligned to a
absolutely.
common goal.
Exactly. Exactly. They knew their goal was to win. So if you have followed this web series, it is all about going to the next level. So there are 6 levels of games, and it's like if you fail the game, you are gone. So you will be dying. So you die after you lose the game. So they knew that they want to survive. And when I say die, they actually die. So they are shot once they lose. So they were very clear on their goal that we want to take it to the next level. We want to make it to the next level. So that was their goal. And they are working towards achieving their goal. So everyone knew that they were aligned to a goal.
Being flexible, being agile.
Right. Being flexible. Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that comes to my mind is the pull concept versus the push concept. Maybe they have.
Sorry, your voice is very low. Can you be a bit louder?
Yeah, pull concept versus the push concept.
Yes, absolutely.
So they will have to pull the required tasks based on the business priorities.
Right. So it should not be someone pushing things towards you, it's you pulling the things.
Ramya, could you please elaborate on that a little bit? Push versus pull.
Yeah, so it's like when we say that we are pulling the work, so now you have planned for this much. So this is what I interpret with pull and push, right? So now you have planned for some work, and it's like you are planning according to your capacity or whatever velocity, and for example you have completed that much amount of work. So not necessary that and this concept is more applicable in lean and kanban kind of a frameworks, wherein you pick as much as the work is needed. Keep it simple. So once you complete one set of things, then you go on to the next one, then you pull from the backlog. It's not that someone is pushing the work on you, bombarding the work on you, it's you pulling the work. So that is what I interpret it as, pull and push. Jaya, if you have some other thoughts on it, maybe you can add about what interpretation you might have.
Yes, exactly. Because with this pull effect, what happens is we are establishing a flow in our day-to-day work, right? And also this also emphasizes on keeping the badge size to a minimum. So that
Right.
way it also helps in better focus and better performance. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think I'll cover a few more points that I have noted down. Let me just quickly do that. It will not take much time. Let me just share screen. We have covered almost all the points. There are just a couple points left, which I'll be covering. Yeah. First is the leader should always lead from the front. So you might most of you might have seen that image in the cold region, where the group of wolves or foxes, they are moving, and there is one leader, one person going and others following behind them, right? Similarly, here also, if you see the main character of this show, he's standing at the front and people are following him. And the narration, so there is this old man who is standing in between. He was narrating the rules, right? So the first sentence he mentioned was, leader should always lead from the front. So that is one quality. Encourage and empower your team, we have already covered. Be an active listener and keen observer. So you as an agile leader, it is a very basic and important thing to be an active listener and keen observer. You should observe what your team is doing. Only then, don't draw conclusions. You should listen to what your team members are saying, listen what others are saying, listen to their problems, their solutions. It's, you should be the one who are talking less in this role. Listen to people, be open to ideas, listen to your to their solutions, problems, pain areas, and observe a lot. So this quality, if I know it is very difficult for us to be that, but we have to develop this skill. Even I am working on that skill. So it's like, I observation is there in me, but active listening is something I am still developing myself. So this is very important. Next is trust and respect each other. This we have covered. Not only trust, we should also respect. So you might have seen there was this lady who was screaming and she was not accepting what the other person was saying, right? So but what happened, rest others were following him, so she had to do that. So respect each other's opinion. You may disagree, right? But you have to put it in a subtle way. You cannot scream saying that no, I don't agree, or you don't have to scream your lungs out saying that this does not work. Try it out for yourself to know whether it works or not. Next is follow rules. This also we have spoken. Support the weakest link in the team. Yeah, you, if you have noticed, the old man is the one who is kept in the middle, and they were, and obviously this is the game of strength as well. Even though you disagree that it is not just about the strength, but it is also about the strength. So the female members and the old man, they were balanced by keeping them in the middle, and they were standing in such a way that one was standing at an angle to the person in the front, to balance it out. So the weakest link were the person with lesser strength. So you have to balance your team out with your skills, right? So in your team also, you will never find everyone equal. So even your fingers are not equal, right? So you will always find someone to be more proactive, or someone to be more smart, or someone to be more intelligent, but there would be someone who is also less. So instead of pointing fingers towards him, you should support the weakest link. You should take your team along with you, all your team members, be it strong, be it weak, you have to take along with you. As I mentioned, balance your team out, and realize every person in the team has a role to play. Yes, this was also a point which you guys have mentioned. Everyone has an important role to play. You cannot say that no, he's a tester. What is he adding value? He is just a front end guy. He is just a back end guy. No. When all these people come together, when all these people play their role, is when you succeed in your team. So every person has a role to play. Next is one should always take a calculated risk. Yes, we spoke about it. One can only be successful with good strategy and planning. Even this we spoke about it. They were strategizing in the beginning, they had thorough planning, and that is the reason why they were able to succeed. And one point about take a calculated risk is that, see, now you are playing a tug of war, and none of us would have thought this way, right? You're almost losing the game, and one person suddenly says that take 3 steps forward. When you take all of them, when all of you guys will take 3 steps forward, chances are that the person in the front will fall, right? And that is what you have seen. He was almost falling, but what happened when you went with this solution? The other party were kept loose. So obviously they were holding so tightly, that they were holding the rope so tightly from the other end. Once you loosen from this end, it got loosened to the other end as well. And this actually helped them bring them back to track. So they had a risk of falling, but still they calculated it and they took that risk. So calculated risk always helps you to take a leap in your job as well. And the last is again the repeated one, as the other series also we have seen: flexibility and creativity versus being reactive. The lady was the one who was very reactive. No, we will fail or we will fall and all of that. But instead of doing that, you be flexible and creative in your ways so that you succeed. So these were all the qualities that I thought of putting together for you guys, and that's it from my end. Any questions? I know that we are also running out of time, but quickly, any questions or anything that you want to add?
Yeah, Ramya, a wish here quickly.
Yes.
Right. Great to see that, it's third session and we are growing, session over session. And I believe we have 20 plus people attending right now. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. That's great. But still, let's work, all of us, to get other team members or other of our work friends to the community and increase our tribe, increase our,
Yeah, absolutely.
size of the team. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for putting
That is
that
one.
out, Vishwanath.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and second, I love the idea of guest speakers, right? At the same time, down the line, if not right now, since I know it's a mixed group, right? Even I am a new kid in the block when it comes to agility,
I don't
agile
call
coach,
yourself
right? But
you as a new now.
yeah, Ramya, you know my journey, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, at same time, it would be great if we kind of do a round robin where each of us, right,
That is
share.
also in the plan. Yes, that is also in the plan.
Right, right.
So
Sounds
as
great.
as
I
you
just
rightly
wanted to share.
mentioned, yeah, as you rightly mentioned, once this gains momentum, right? So we get once we get lot of people joining in, so definitely that is in the plan. It is not going to be a way wherein every time only myself or Vivek would be speaking. We would be also, as I mentioned, introducing the concept of guest speaker, and also going forward, it would be a case wherein once you guys also get that confidence, okay, no, I can present a topic, or even now, after we grow a bit more, definitely I would love to have you guys present a topic so that even we can get to learn, and we can also contribute to our knowledge base. And even after at that level, even that level surpasses, the plan is to have an open discussion wherein we can decide upon a problem area a week prior, and all of us can come and brainstorm in this session and kind of get the solutions out of it. Even that is in the plan.
Sounds awesome, Ramya and Vivek. Thanks to you both for consistent efforts and leading this. Yeah, let's make this a pan-India community, right? So, right. I believe we already are from different places, parts of the country. Yeah, but let's
Yeah.
certainly let's go it and sounds great. Thanks a ton.
Yeah, and
And
Ramya,
I see this group. Sorry, last one sentence. I see this group as my growth partners. You know, we are a pack, a tribe. Let's do a pact of supporting and helping each other in our learning and growth. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so one suggestion, I will not take much time, Ramya. So
Yeah,
what I have in mind is that because we all are from the same fraternity and we are working in different organizations, right? So what I'm thinking is that if every person bring in one challenge what they have come across in their organization, and what is that they have made it to succeed in that challenge. So what steps they have taken? It might be a process improvement, or it might be tools what they bought in into that challenge and fix that challenge. So if we could have that challenge and also a solution what they bought in to fix it, will really help the other team members as well. It might
definitely.
be a yeah.
Definitely, definitely. As I mentioned, yes, we are going to have all of this, and for this, I really need you guys' support, wherein we get in more people together so that we can brainstorm, we can discuss. Because now we are just 20 of us, and I am envisioning this to be further growing, and wherein we would be more than 100 people, and we would have more hands and more brains working together and joining together, so we would have more content and more problems and solutions to brainstorm together. So yes, this is in the plan, and we are going to do that. Since this is just a third session, is why we thought that let's get this the ground clear, let's set the context for few sessions, and then we can engage others as well.
Hey Ramya.
Hey, hi. Yes, Aisha. Hello. Aisha, you're not audible. All right. Anything else from anyone to add, or are we good to close?
Yeah.
All right. I think we are already 12 minutes past, so we can close for today. And thank you everyone for joining. And let's grow together in this agile journey. And happy weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ramya.
Thank you, Ramya. Definitely.
Thanks, Ramya. Thanks, Vivek.
Thank you, Ramya.
Bye, guys.